standing in a dark room. Suddenly, someone hands you a glowing lamp. Now you can see everything in that room. What was hidden before is now clearly visible. This is exactly what understanding does for us. It illuminates the dark corners of our life. It gives us the power to question what we believe, why we believe it, and whether it is actually true. Most of us accept things as truth without really thinking about them. Whatever we were taught in childhood, we consider it the ultimate truth. But have you ever wondered how much your life could change if you started questioning things yourself? If you started thinking and examining everything on your own? David Hume was a philosopher who taught us that we should never blindly accept anything. We must examine every thought, every belief, and every idea. His book, An Enquiry Concerning Human Understanding, helps us understand where real knowledge comes from and how we can apply it in our lives. If we apply Hume's thinking to our daily life, we can sharpen our understanding, make better decisions, and live a balanced, logical, and successful life. In today's world, where we are flooded with information and everyone presents their opinion as the ultimate truth, the most important thing we need is clear understanding and the power of reasoning. Social media, television, newspapers, everywhere we hear new things every day. But have we ever thought about how many of these things are actually logical? We believe rumors without thinking. We form our opinions based on what others say. And many times we end up making wrong decisions. Hume teaches us that we should prioritize understanding in our life. We should question everything and only accept an idea when it proves to be correct based on logic and experience. When we ask ourselves, is this really true and is there any evidence for this, we protect ourselves from foolishness and make our life better. This is why understanding is so important. If we apply Hume's thinking, we can save ourselves from illusions and develop independent thinking. Hume believed that knowledge comes from experience, not just from books or blindly believing what others say. Think about it. When you learn to ride a bicycle, can you learn just by reading a book? No. You have to sit on the bicycle yourself, fall down, get up again, and practice. This same rule applies to every area of life. If you want success, you have to learn from your own experiences. You have to test things yourself. You have to keep moving forward while learning from your mistakes. This is the power of understanding. Hume also teaches us that our assumptions and habits influence our thinking. Many times we assume that if something happened once, it will always happen the same way. But this is not true. If you failed at something before, it does not mean you cannot succeed again. We need to break free from this illusion that the future will always be like the past. Life keeps changing. Circumstances keep changing. And if we act wisely, we can shape our life in a new way. When we understand that we should think carefully about everything, use logic, and learn from our own experiences, then we can make our life better. So the question arises, how do we apply Hume's wisdom in our life? First, we need to develop the habit of questioning. Before accepting anything, ask yourself, is this true? Is there any logical evidence for this? Can I test this through my own experience? When we develop this habit, we can see the world around us from a new perspective. Second, we need to keep our thinking open. Often, we cling to our old beliefs and hesitate to adopt new ideas. But if we want to learn new things, we must examine our old beliefs and make changes where necessary. Third, we need to trust logic and experience, not just traditions or hearsay. When we adopt this thinking, we can become a more independent, intelligent, and successful person. Hume's biggest lesson is this: understanding and the power of reasoning can show us the right direction in life. If we think carefully about everything, learn from our experiences, and protect ourselves from any illusion, we can live a successful, aware, and happy life. So let us start today. Develop the habit of questioning, make wise decisions, and give your life a new direction. Chapter 1. The Limits of Knowledge. Imagine you are standing on top of a mountain, looking at the world spread out far below. You consider everything you can see as the truth. But does that mean the entire world is only what your eyes can see? Absolutely not. This is just a small part. There might be something hidden behind the clouds that you cannot see right now. This is exactly the situation with our knowledge. What we see, hear, or understand is just a part, not the complete truth. We must accept that our information is limited and we do not know everything. This is the humility from which real understanding begins. How do we know what we know? David Hume thought deeply about this question. He said that all our knowledge comes from two main sources: Experience and thoughts. It is very important to understand that the things we consider true are somehow based on our experiences or thoughts. But the question arises, can our knowledge ever be complete? If we look around us, we find that we learn new things every day, but we also feel that our information is incomplete. Let us say you have heard about a distant country, but until you go there yourself, you are just relying on what you have heard. Is that the complete truth? No. This is why Hume teaches us that we should always be humble about our knowledge and accept that what we know may be limited. Hume divided knowledge into two parts: experience and thoughts. First, experience. When you directly feel something, that is your experience. For example, you once touched fire and felt the burning sensation. This experience is real because you felt it directly. These are impressions, things that we experience through our senses. Second, thoughts. Now think that you have already experienced burning from fire and you are now thinking about fire. But this thought is not real fire. It is an image created in your mind. Hume said that all our thoughts are based on some experience or another. We cannot imagine something that we have never experienced. This means that all our knowledge comes either from our experience or from thoughts based on those experiences. If we do not know something directly, we can only make guesses. But we must understand that guesses are never certain knowledge. Many of us believe that what we were taught or what we read in books is the ultimate truth. But Hume makes us think, can we really know everything? No matter how much we learn, we still cannot have knowledge of the entire world. This is why real understanding begins with humility. When we accept that our information is limited, only then do we prepare ourselves to learn more. Humility does not mean we should undervalue our knowledge. It means we should always believe that there is no limit to learning. The greatest strength of great scientists and philosophers has been that they always remained open to new ideas. If they had believed they knew everything, new inventions would never have happened. Therefore, we too should adopt this thinking in our life. When we accept that our knowledge is limited, only then are we ready to embrace new experiences and new ideas. This is the real power of understanding, always keeping yourself ready to learn. Chapter 2. The Power of Experience. Imagine someone gives you a book that has the rules of swimming written in it: how to move your hands, when to breathe, and how to balance your body in water. Now think, can you jump into deep water and swim just by reading this book? No. You will have to get into the water yourself. You will have to experience sinking and recovering. Only then will you learn to swim. This is the power of experience. Real knowledge does not come just from reading or thinking, but from learning by doing. David Hume believed that the source of all knowledge is experience. We cannot fully understand anything until we have experienced it ourselves. Relying on guesses, imagination, or just hearsay gives us incomplete information. But when we test things ourselves, real understanding develops. This idea is as important today as it was in Hume's time. Hume said that our mind can imagine anything. But until we have experienced it, that imagination remains just a thought. Let us say someone told you that ice is very cold. You can believe it by hearing. But until you have held ice in your hands and felt its coldness, this knowledge will remain incomplete. Our entire world works on the basis of experience. Science is based on this principle. We do not consider anything true until it is proven through experiments and experiences. Similarly, experience plays an important role in every decision of our life. When we learn something new by doing it ourselves, it gets deeply embedded in our mind. This is why just studying in schools is not enough. Doing experiments in laboratories, practicing speaking a language, and trying things in real life is necessary. Many people believe in others' words without thinking. We are taught many things from childhood, but how many of those things are correct? We should test ourselves. Look at the power of blind belief. Earlier, people believed that the sun revolves around the earth. They accepted it as true without experience and evidence. But when scientists observed and gathered evidence, the truth emerged that actually the earth revolves around the sun. Some people believe that success can be achieved without hard work. They think that good luck alone decides everything. But if we look at the lives of successful people, we will find that they learn from real experiences. They rose from failures and moved forward through hard work. Hume teaches us that we should examine everything on the basis of logic and experience, not just blindly believe traditions or hearsay. If we adopt the right process of learning, we need to do two things: observation and experimentation. First, observation. When we look at something carefully, we can understand it deeply. For example, if someone wants to do business, they need to observe how successful people work. They need to understand the reasons behind their mistakes and their success. When we observe things carefully in life, we can also learn from others' mistakes. Second, experimentation. Just watching is not enough. We also have to try things ourselves. If you want to learn to play guitar, just watching videos will not help. You have to practice yourself. If a scientist wants to create a new medicine, they will not just guess. They will experiment. They will test things again and again and observe the results. This same rule applies in our life. If we want to learn something new, whether it is a sport, a new language, or a new skill in life, we have to try it ourselves. We have to make mistakes and learn from those mistakes. If we adopt Hume's lesson that real knowledge comes from experience, we can completely change our life. For this, we need to take 3 important steps. 1. Doubt. Challenge blind belief. Do not accept anything without thinking. Ask, is this really true? Is there any evidence for this? If someone says a certain method guarantees success, first check yourself whether it is really logical or not. 2. Embrace new experiences. Step out of your comfort zone and try to learn new skills. Remove fear and try things yourself. Whether it is learning a new language, starting a new business, or learning a new skill. 3. Make observation and experimentation your habit. Observe the world carefully, learn from people, and improve yourself from their successes and failures. Test everything yourself and make your decisions based on experience. When we prioritize experience, our life moves in a new direction. Experience teaches us that failures are a means of learning, and every new attempt brings us closer to success. If we adopt Hume's lesson that knowledge comes from experience, we can achieve any goal in our life. Chapter 3. Habit in the mind. Think about when you wake up in the morning. Do you think about whether the sun will rise or not? Probably not, because you know that the sun rises every day. When you open the door, do you worry that it might suddenly disappear? Absolutely not, because our mind has become used to the idea that things will happen the same way they have always happened. We expect that the future will be like the past. But is this always true? This is the question David Hume raised. He told us that most of our beliefs are based on habits, not on any solid logic. Hume says that our thoughts and actions are controlled by our habits. The things we repeat again and again get so embedded in our mind that we start considering them true. But what if our habits are wrong? What if we are believing in assumptions that are stopping us from moving forward? The good news is that we can change our habits and use them for our personal growth. In this chapter, we will understand how habits are formed, how they influence our way of thinking and working, and how we can use them to make our life better. Our brain is designed in such a way that it looks for patterns and develops the habit of seeing things in a normal way. If we have seen or experienced something many times, we feel that it will always be the same. Beliefs formed from experience. If the sun rises every morning, we assume it will always rise. If a person always behaves nicely with us, we believe they will do the same in the future. If a student finds mathematics difficult, they assume they will never understand it, even if they practice correctly. Where does the problem come? When we assume that things will never change, we get trapped in wrong beliefs. We start connecting our past failures with future failures. We are afraid to try new possibilities because we feel everything will always remain the same. But Hume says this: thinking is just a habit. It is not a universal rule that the future will be like the past. If we change this thinking, we can bring big changes in our life. Everything we think and do is the result of some habit. Habits can influence our behavior to the extent that we start believing in something without thinking. How do habits shape our beliefs? If we were told from childhood that we are not good at something, we accept it as true, even if we have the ability. If we always give up in difficult situations, we get used to just quitting the struggle. If we repeatedly think negatively, it becomes our habit and we start seeing bad in everything. How do habits control our actions? If we have developed a habit of laziness, we will always procrastinate. If we have made a habit of hard work, no challenge can stop us. If we have developed the habit of learning, we can learn something new from every situation. This means that our thoughts and actions are connected to our habits. Good habits lead us toward success, while bad habits pull us back. But the good news is that we can change our habits and use them for our development. If we develop the right habits, we can completely change our life. For this, we need to do 3 things. Recognize wrong habits, adopt right habits, and practice consistently. Recognize wrong habits and break them. First, we need to see which habits are harming us. If we have a habit of procrastinating, we need to stop it. If we have a habit of doubting ourselves, we need to challenge it. Adopt positive habits. Make small changes. No habit changes in one day, so we need to take small steps. Be self-aware. We need to be alert about our habits and see where they are taking us. Develop positive thinking. Remind yourself every day that you can change your habits. Practice consistently. Habits only change when we repeat them again and again. It may seem difficult in the beginning, but gradually, new habits will become a part of our life. If we practice a new habit for 1 month, it gets firmly established in our mind. David Hume teaches us that whatever we believe is just a result of our habits. If we believe that the future will be like the past, it is just mental inertia. But if we change our habits, we can give our life a new direction. We should ask ourselves this question: are our habits moving us forward or holding us back? If we want change, we need to change our habits. When we adopt the right habits, we can achieve any goal. So make a new beginning from today. Examine your habits, improve them, and make your future better. Chapter 4. The Myth of Certainty. Have you ever thought about how true everything you know really is? Most of us believe that our beliefs, thoughts, and knowledge are completely correct. But if we think deeply, we will realize that our information may be incomplete. David Hume taught us that absolute certainty is an illusion. Nothing in the world is 100% certain. We accept things as true based on our experiences and information given by society. But in history, many times people's strongest beliefs turned out to be wrong. There was a time when the world believed the earth was flat, but later it was proven wrong. Scientists thought for years that the universe was static, but now we know it is constantly expanding. If we let go of this illusion of certainty and embrace doubt as a powerful tool, we can walk on a new path of learning and understanding. In this chapter, we will see why certainty is an illusion, how doubt can be adopted as a positive strength, and how intellectual humility can be developed. We often believe that what we have learned, what we have been told, or what we think is correct. But Hume says that everything we know is just a result of experience and habits, not proof of any unbreakable truth. First, our knowledge is based on experience, but it is not complete. As long as something happens repeatedly, we consider it a rule. For example, the sun rises in the east every day, so we assume it will always be the same. But do we have any logical proof that it can never change? Second, the future will not always be like the past. If a coin comes up heads 10 times when flipped, does that mean it will come up heads the 11th time too? We predict the future only based on past patterns, but this is not certain. Third, our senses and thinking process are also limited. What we see or feel is not always true. For example, when we look at a stick dipped in water, it appears bent, whereas in reality it is straight. Our mind also has many biases that can lead us to wrong conclusions. This means that whatever seems certain to us is actually just probability, not an absolute truth. If certainty is an illusion, does that mean we should not believe in anything? No. It only means that we should always test things, ask questions, and adopt new ideas with an open mind. Doubt saves us from wrong beliefs. If scientists never asked questions, we would still be living on wrong beliefs today. Every great invention has started with doubt, by challenging existing information. Doubt helps us think better. When we question everything, we make better decisions. For example, if someone asks you to invest money and you invest without questioning, you might get cheated. But if you think deeply and gather information, you will make a wise decision. Doubt gives us the opportunity to learn and grow. If we assume we already know everything, we will not learn anything new. When we accept that we might be wrong, we remain open to new ideas. Hume teaches us that doubt is not weakness, but strength. A wise person is one who can accept that they do not know everything. This quality is called intellectual humility, and it can make any person more knowledgeable, wiser, and successful. First, adopt the thought that I might be wrong. When you consider something true, ask yourself, is this really correct? Is there any evidence for this? Always test your thinking and listen to others' opinions as well. Second, be ready to learn new things. Never think that you know everything. Keep your mind open to adopting new information. Third, do not just believe. Test yourself, whatever the matter may be. Do not accept it just because someone told you. Experience things yourself and investigate. Chapter 5. Cause and Effect. The Illusion of Predictability. Have you ever thought that when you wake up to an alarm in the morning, does the alarm wake you up, or would your sleep have broken anyway? When fragrance comes from the soil after rain, does it happen because of the rain, or is there some other reason too? We connect everything in our life with cause and effect. But David Hume teaches us that this can also be an illusion. Most of us believe that if one event repeatedly happens after another event, the first event is the cause of the second. But is this true? If someone watches a cricket match wearing white shoes every time and their team wins, does wearing white shoes become the cause of victory? No. Hume tells us that correlation is not always causation. In this chapter, we will understand why our way of thinking about cause and effect can be wrong, why we should not accept anything as true just based on external appearances, and how we can use this idea in our decision-making and problem-solving. Our world runs on the idea that every event has a cause. But Hume says this is not entirely true. We only connect things based on experience, but we do not know for certain whether one event is actually the cause of another event. We only see events happening in a sequence. If the sun rises every morning, we assume it will always be like this. But it is not necessary that what has happened repeatedly in our experience will always happen. We mix up cause and coincidence. Let us say you write with a special pen before every exam and get good marks. This does not mean the pen is the cause of your success. Actually, your hard work and studying bring good marks, not the pen. Our brain has the habit of finding patterns. Our brain likes to see things as connected, even if there is no real relationship between them. If a man hears a rooster crowing on the roof in the morning and then sees the sun rising, he might believe that the rooster's crowing makes the sun rise. Hume's point is that we need to accept that we only depend on probabilities, not on absolute certainty. Often we see a relationship between two things and assume that one thing is the cause of the other. But it is not necessary that this is true. Correlation means when two events happen together, but one does not cause the other. Example: ice cream sales increase in summer and drowning incidents also increase. Does this mean eating ice cream causes people to drown? No. Actually, heat is the cause of both events. People eat ice cream in heat and more people go swimming in heat, which increases drowning incidents. Causation means when one event actually becomes the cause of another event. Example: if a person drinks poison and gets sick, this is a direct cause. Hume teaches us that every time we see two things connected, we should investigate before considering them cause and effect. If we apply Hume's idea in our life, we can think better and make wise decisions. First, gather evidence first. Then decide. Do not accept anything just because it has happened before. Scientifically and logically analyze every situation. Example: if someone tells you that waking up early leads to success, you need to see whether there is really such a direct relationship or is it just a good habit that can help. Second, use logic instead of emotions. Many times we see things as connected because of our emotions, when actually there is no relationship between them. Example: if someone's interview goes bad and it rains on the same day, they might think rain is the cause of their bad luck, whereas it is just a coincidence. Third, examine problems deeply. Whenever you need to find a solution to a problem, first identify its real cause. Do not accept anything just based on external symptoms, but go into its depth. Fourth, do self-analysis. Look at your life and see what things you have accepted as true without investigation. Are they really correct, or are they just beliefs made on the basis of habit and experience? Chapter 6. Miracles and the Power of Skepticism. Have you ever heard about miracles that seem beyond scientific logic? Like someone walking on water, someone getting cured of a serious illness without medicine, or someone predicting future events? When we hear these things, what should our first question be? Did this really happen? Or is there a possibility of this being true? David Hume teaches us that we should not accept any extraordinary claim without questioning. He said a miracle is a violation of natural laws. And whenever someone tells us a story of a miracle, we should ask, is there any solid reason to believe this? In this chapter, we will understand why Hume did not believe in miracles, why extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence, and how critical thinking can help us make right decisions in everyday life. David Hume discussed miracles in detail in his book, An Enquiry Concerning Human Understanding, and rejected them. His argument was that there is no solid basis for believing in miracles. First, natural laws never break. Hume says that natural laws are always the same. Fire is hot, water flows, and things fall due to gravity. If someone says they saw a person flying in the air without any support, we should think, is this really possible or is it just an illusion? Second, stories of miracles are suspicious. Stories of miracles often come from sources whose reliability is questionable. Whenever a miracle happens, very few people see it, and their stories change by the time they are heard the second or third time. Third, people want to believe miracles are true. Human nature is that it wants to believe in extraordinary things, even if there is no solid evidence for them. Hume says that for religious, social, and cultural reasons, people accept stories of miracles as true. Therefore, whenever someone tells us a story of a miracle, we should not immediately believe it, but first investigate it. Hume's most famous argument is this: if an extraordinary claim is made, extraordinary evidence is also needed to prove it. For small claims, small evidence is sufficient. If someone says they drank tea today, we do not need much evidence to believe it. This is a normal event that we see happening every day. For extraordinary claims, strong evidence is needed. If someone says they saw tea floating in the air without any cup, this would be an extraordinary claim. To believe such a claim, just their word is not enough. We need solid confirmation like scientific testing, photos, or videos. History teaches us that miracles have often been proven wrong. Many times, people spread stories of miracles in emotional excitement. With scientific progress, things that were once considered miracles are now considered normal scientific phenomena, like solar eclipse, lightning, or curing of diseases. This means that if we need to believe in something, we should first thoroughly investigate it. If we apply Hume's ideas in our life, we can avoid many frauds and wrong beliefs. Critical thinking helps us examine everything on the basis of logic and make right decisions. Avoiding superstition. Many times people believe that wearing a special ring will change their luck or traveling on a special date is inauspicious. If we test these things on the basis of logic, we will find that there is no scientific basis in them. Protection from fraud. In today's era, many people try to earn money by making fake claims, whether fake doctors, magicians, or online scammers. If we examine every claim, we can easily avoid these frauds. Making better decisions. If we are shown an advertisement of a product claiming it is 100% effective, we should first see whether there is any scientific evidence for it or not. Similarly, if any leader or person makes a big claim, we should see what its basis is. Chapter 7. Mastering Uncertainty. Have you ever thought that none of our information about the future is completely certain? When we make a decision, whether it is related to career, relationships, or money, we can never know what the outcome will be. Yet most people keep searching for complete security. They want a guarantee for every decision. But the truth is that nothing is certain in life. David Hume teaches us that accepting uncertainty is real wisdom. Those who consider everything certain cannot avoid mistakes. But those who think by understanding probabilities and take calculated risks are more successful. Most people want their decisions to prove 100% correct, but this is not possible. Every option has some risk. Hume's argument is that we should stop expecting complete certainty and develop the habit of thinking based on probabilities. First, do not search for the perfect answer. Find the better answer. Many times people keep waiting for the right time and keep postponing decisions. But the right time never comes. No decision is completely right or wrong. It just depends on probability. Second, gather information, then assess the probability. If you want to invest in a new business, you should see what the probability of success is and how much the risk is. Instead of shooting in the dark, make decisions based on facts and data. Third, do small experiments. If you are working on a new idea, first try it on a small scale. This will give you an opportunity to learn without major losses. If you want a guarantee for everything, you will never be able to make big decisions. Therefore, understanding risk and taking risks at the right time is necessary. Understand probability. If you understand the probability of success of something mathematically, you will be able to make better decisions. Example, if you want to quit a job and start a business, see how many out of 10 people's businesses succeed. If 3 people succeed, your probability is 30%. Now you have to decide whether you want to take this risk or not. Assess the risk. Every big decision is full of risk, but some risks are taken wisely, while some are foolish. Example, wise risk means starting a business with a small investment first and moving forward while learning. Foolish risk means investing a large amount without doing any research. Do not fear being wrong. If you do not make any decision because of fear of being proven wrong, you will always stay where you are. Successful people are not afraid of making mistakes. They learn from mistakes and move forward. Many of us think that if we control everything, we will succeed. But the reality is that those who embrace uncertainty and make it their strength are the ones who move forward. Do not fear change, embrace it. The world is changing rapidly. If you do not adapt yourself according to changing circumstances, you will be left behind. Success comes only to those who are ready to learn new things and are not afraid of taking risks. Do not fear failing. Learn from it. Hume says that real wisdom is not that you are never wrong, but how quickly you learn after making a mistake and improve yourself. Those who fear failure can never muster the courage to do something new. Every decision is an experiment. If you take every decision like an experiment, you will not fear being wrong. Success comes only to those who move forward by doing small experiments and constantly improve themselves. Chapter 8. The Art of Thinking for Yourself. Have you ever felt that pressure from society, family, or friends is forcing you to think and make decisions in a certain way? Have you ever seen a situation where people accept an idea without questioning just because everyone is doing it? If yes, then you need to understand that thinking independently is the real sign of true wisdom. David Hume teaches us that we should learn to think for ourselves, not blindly adopt others' beliefs. If we just follow the crowd, we can never reach the truth. This chapter will tell us how we can avoid external influences, think independently, and make logical thinking our strength. In our society, it often happens that people accept an idea without logic because they believe what they learned from their family, religion, or society without questioning. They believe that if everyone is doing this, it must be right. They fear asking questions because it might make them appear different. Hume tells us that this is mental slavery. If we do not think for ourselves, we are just blindly imitating others' ideas. How does the influence of the crowd make us weak? It destroys our own ability to think. If you keep accepting everything without questioning, your mind will just keep repeating others' opinions. It forces us to make wrong decisions. When something becomes popular, people accept it as true, even if there is no logic in it. It stops new thinking and discovery. The world has moved forward only because of those people who thought against the crowd and gave new ideas. In today's era, where everyone is trying to impose their opinion on others through social media and internet, thinking independently has become even more important. To avoid fake news and wrong information, every day false news and rumors are spread on the internet. If you believe in them without investigation, you can easily be misled. To not fall for the trap of marketing and advertising. Big companies try to make you believe that if you do not buy their product, you are missing something. But if you think logically, you will understand that not every expensive thing is necessarily better. To make important decisions of your life yourself, whether it is career, relationships, or investing money. If you just follow others' advice, that decision may not be right for you. Making decisions yourself by understanding your circumstances is real freedom. Now the question arises, how do we train our mind so that we can think independently and not accept anything without logic? First, develop the habit of asking questions. Whenever anyone tells you a fact, ask in your mind, where did this information come from? Is there any scientific or logical basis for it? Is there any bias in it? Do not blindly accept any idea. If someone tells you this is true because it is written in the book, or this is true because our ancestors said so, do not accept it without investigation. Test everything on the basis of logic and evidence. Second, do not listen to only one side. Think from different perspectives. If you want to understand any issue, listen to arguments from both sides and then decide for yourself which is correct. Third, develop the habit of reading and learning. Read books of great thinkers. Learn about science, philosophy, and psychology so that you can understand things deeply. Fourth, clarify your thinking by writing. When you think about a subject, write it down. This will help you clarify your thoughts even more. Chapter 9. Understanding life. Have you ever thought that true knowledge comes not only from books but also from life experiences? Most of us live by just accepting assumed truths, but very few people actually develop the habit of thinking, questioning, and learning to understand the world and develop themselves. David Hume's philosophy teaches us that if we want to deeply understand our life, we need to learn to balance doubt and wisdom. Hume teaches us not to blindly accept the things we were taught, but to investigate everything. But just raising questions is not enough. We also need to apply our knowledge and practice. First, question everything, but also make right decisions. Just doubting and considering everything wrong is also not wisdom. We should use our understanding to decide when to doubt and when to move forward. Second, learn from your experiences. According to Hume, true knowledge comes from experience, not just from thinking or reading books. This means that if you want to understand something, try it, experiment with it, and learn from your experience. Third, think with an open mind and avoid prejudices. We need to understand that the world is not divided only into black and white. Everything has many aspects. Listen to every new idea with an open mind and test its arguments. Then decide whether it is correct or not. Many times when people adopt skeptical thinking like Hume, they start questioning everything so much that they cannot make any decision. But just doubting does not move life forward. We also need to take action. How to create the right balance between doubt and action. Investigate everything, but when you have sufficient information, make a decision. Do not fear being wrong. If a decision proves wrong, learn from it and move forward. Try something new, then test it based on your experience. A good example is if you want to start a new business, do not just keep thinking about possibilities. First, try it on a small scale, gain experience, and then take your decision in the right direction. David Hume tells us that the journey of understanding never ends. Those who stop learning gradually become victims of conservative thinking. Therefore, if you want to make your life better, you need to always remain curious. First, develop the habit of learning new things. Read new things every day. Go to new places. Meet new people. Try to increase your knowledge a little every day. Second, keep yourself updated. The world is changing rapidly. If you do not keep yourself updated with new information and technology, you will be left behind. Learning should not be limited to just school or college. It is a lifelong process. Third, keep your mind open. It is possible that the ideas you were taught from childhood are not completely correct. Always be ready to listen to and understand new ideas. So friends, today we discussed the main points of David Hume's book, An Enquiry Concerning Human Understanding. Hume tried to explain to us that our knowledge is based on experience and senses, and there is no certain truth beyond logic or imagination. Hume believed that all knowledge comes from experience and thought. The principle of cause and effect is not always certain. It is just a habit based on our experience. He raised questions about miracles and said that we should remain skeptical until there is solid evidence. He said that we form our decisions and beliefs not from logic, but from habit and experience. So, can we consider anything 100% true? Hume says no. We should always keep room for doubt and test our knowledge based on experience. If you like this video, do not forget to like and share. And tell us in the comments, do you agree with Hume's ideas? Subscribe to the channel for more philosophy and book summaries and press the bell icon. Thank you. And see you next time with a new interesting book on BookUnbox.